financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is skyrocketing problems, credit card debt, and student loans. Good morning, Jeff Linden.
Good morning, Ken. Pleasure to be here.
Good morning, Jim Simasco.
Always happy to be here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Brian Small.
Good morning, Ken. How are you this morning?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you. So, I know this is I cut you out of the first good morning, Brian, because I know this is a topic dear and near to you. You're the one who told me credit card debt is at what level?
$1.21 trillion. That is, just to put it in perspective, that is up from $720 billion by November of 2020.
Oh, so you have to give me a different number because I have
It's up. It's up almost 6% from last year.
It's crazy, and it's up 2.3% from last quarter, which to me is even more alarming.
No, it's going like this, and it isn't coming down.
So why is it doing that?
Well,
because I read, and they said, well, it's just kind of bouncing back because of the reduction in debt that occurred during COVID. But that seems a long time ago.
So the reduction in debt went from $910 billion to $720, and then it went back up, and now it's skyrocketing. And why is it happening? Tariffs, inflation, and something that just recently people had to start paying back again, student loans.
So they're charging their student loan payments?
No, what's happening is that the government is taking such an aggressive approach to collecting on student loans that people are actually making choices about what they're paying. And so they're choosing to actually pay their student loans, many, although defaults are extraordinarily high, higher than they were in 2009 by percentage. I think double the percentage actually from 2009.
Charging their essentials.
And then what they're doing is they're charging their essentials on their credit cards, paying the very minimums, and now they're starting to pay their student loans. And so debts are going up, defaults are going up, everything costs more, and it is a tornado of problems.
Yeah, because there's no solution there. Because what's going to happen is they'll tap out the credit cards.
Well, remember,
That's
no one
static thing that's going to happen.
No one effectively with government-backed student loans up until this year has had to pay on their student loans for 5 years. Okay, interest hasn't been accruing. Student loan payments didn't come due, weren't being required to be made, and so it was static. And so people were.
That's a big shock to the budget. All of a sudden, you've got to. And what's the average student loan payment? You don't know.
I don't know, but you can imagine that it's going to be between $100 and $200 a month.
So are most student loans fixed rate loans or are they variable rate loans?
So most government-backed student loans are fixed rate. They are hovering between anywhere from, depending, 4% all the way up to 9%.
Wow.
When you borrowed the money, depending on what the economy was at the time.
So
how aggressive is the government in collecting these student loans if they don't pay?
Well, that's a really great question. And it depends on what administration you were with. The Biden administration was trying to forgive student loans.
Wait a second.
But that's
Why
over.
are you telling us about the Biden administration?
Trump
they're
administration
not the administration. They're not the government.
Is aggressively attempting to collect. First of all, what they've done is they're pursuing collection, one. Two, they've eliminated all of the prior income-based repayment programs that existed. and including they're trying to eliminate the SAVE program. Starting in 2026, though, there will be 2 options left. If you want to do an income-based repayment program, there's one. It's either pay your loans over 10 years, or you can get into the income-based.
You mean an amortization over 10 years?
Yeah, that's a regular payment
That's the
plan,
normal payment.
and then you can extend them out. But
And what's the other program?
it's going to be, I think it's 10 or 15% of your disposable income, is what.
Is everybody eligible? Is that only for federal?
It's only for federal. It doesn't even touch.
Well,
The
private
government,
student loans,
private student loans have no programs.
Those weren't on deferral, were they?
No, they were not. But there are no programs to help you with private student loans other than dying.
What's the Michigan Online said the student debt is 1.75 trillion. Is that government student debt or is that all student debt?
I can't answer that question. I don't know. I mean,
And they also said that the Fed, that according to them, that it's increased 66% in the past decade, student loan debt.
well, you know,
cost
now,
of education probably.
Yeah.
increased
well, now
that
there
much,
you
too.
go. You see, it's a the reason student loan debt has gone up so much is because the cost of education has gone up so much. So student loan debt goes up so much, and cost of education goes up because as long as you can borrow more money,
it's
they're
supply-
going to charge you more
It's
money.
supply and demand. So
But-
as soon as they make student loans available, which they do because they're non-dischargeable in bankruptcy, so there's plenty of money available.
That's a misnomer, but we'll get back to that.
No, go ahead.
Student loans, at least at the moment, the Department of Justice and the Department of Education still have the program that was introduced in the Biden administration to allow for partial or complete discharge of student loans if you meet certain requirements.
Are you able to discharge student loans for your clients in bankruptcy so far?
Some of them. It is a very limited number,
Okay,
but it
so
used to be none of them.
So mine was a partial misnomer. In general, are they still deemed to be non-dischargeable?
The
Well, they're
oppor-
non-dischargeable unless you're in bankruptcy.
That's
Well,
correct.
First.
The opportunity to discharge them may exist if you're below median income, but you have to meet a certain number of requirements.
Okay,
We can come back to that after
So
the
out
break.
of 10 bankruptcy clients, how many would be eligible for discharge of student loans?
0.1.
Okay, so I want to correct my statement. And my misnomer was a minuscule misnomer.
It was a minuscule
Yeah,
misnomer,
okay.
but the opportunity does exist.
So going back to the point, my point was because, well, you know what? Let's take a break. We'll come back after the break and talk about what my point was.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If your loved one is struggling with age-related issues, let our family help your family. Call Samasco Law now. We're family-owned and growing. Meet Joe Frizard and Kelsey Samasco, our newest superstars. We'll handle your issues with care, compassion, and dedication. At Samasco Law, we'll leave no stone unturned until your family is protected for the long term. We'll walk together. That's what families do. Samasco Law. Protect what matters.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work.
you have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so on the student loan, when we were talking about this little issue that you
The
prodded the whole
dischargeability.
thing is,
Yeah.
it's a supply and demand thing. Because student loans are non-dischargeable,
Right. Generally.
the universities know that when they raise tuition, they'll still be able to attract students.
So here's where
It's
that
starting to scale back.
Well,
a
no,
little
it
bit.
is, and here's the difference, because right now, under the new student loan rules, the amount you can borrow has been reduced.
Right.
Okay, including, by example, doctors. You know, in medical school, you used to be able to borrow
whatever you wanted.
effectively. Now you're capped out at $50,000 per year for a max.
Regardless of what the tuition is?
With a maximum of a federal student loan of $200,000, as I understand it.
So
that's going to knock a whole bunch of medical schools
So if you want to go
into
to
trouble.
med school
Well, you can go private
and
loans.
you have no private resources,
That's the problem.
you just don't get to go.
That's possible. Or
I mean, the whole thing is crazy. I mean, what about if you have existing student debt? Can you go do military service to discharge it? I mean, to eliminate
Government service.
So-
it?
so-
because you can enroll in the military and then get a free education still.
So there used to be, under previous administrations, the programs that would allow you to eliminate your student loans after 10 years of public service or otherwise. Now the new program is going to be, you're going to pay for 30 years, period.
Where'd
It's
you
going
get to 30?
This is the new program that goes into effect in 2026. That
So like a 30-year mortgage.
it's a 30-year mortgage, yes.
But no mortgage.
But it's income driven between 1 and 10% of your gross income.
Gross?
Yeah, as I understand it.
Or adjusted gross, probably.
Okay. And it's for whatever's left is forgiven at the end of 30 years.
Great.
Great, yeah.
So if you're
in other words,
25, everything's going to be fine at 55.
So some of the income-based programs that have previously existed, you could have a payment of 0. You will not have a payment of 0 anymore in any of the programs
All right,
going forward.
So while we were at the break, you pulled up some interesting Google information. I think you said the average payment is actually between $310 and $460 a month.
Yep.
And the amount of private student loans was only $145 billion, but government student loans was like $1.6 trillion.
Yeah.
So the lion's share of that student debt is government.
So the question will be if the student
question
loans
is,
are
what do
going to
we do
be
about this?
diminished, if your opportunity to borrow will be diminished, will tuition prices start leveling off?
Yeah, I think you'll see that happens. If all of a sudden
They're never coming down.
if demand goes down, the cost of tuition will have to go down to attract students. That's a positive. I've always been of the belief that the simple solution, but I don't want to get to the policy issue. The policy solution is student debt should be dischargeable in bankruptcy
100%.
in a Chapter 13.
Or a
and
Chapter
if you
7.
want to make it more onerous than regular debt, then you say student debt's only dischargeable over a 10-year payment plan or a 7-year or an 8-year repayment plan as opposed to your other debt. It's a simple solution, but we don't get anywhere with our policy. So what I want to talk about for the rest of the show is, what about the individual? He's got the credit card debt that you're saying is now maxing out because he's choosing to make his student loan payments. The credit card debt maxes out. The student loans are still there. What's the remedy? Is there a remedy?
So, as we all know, money's tight, the economy is difficult at the moment, and people are making choices about what they're paying. The reality is that if you stop paying your credit cards because you're paying your student loans, the credit cards are going to sue you. If you stop paying the student loans and you keep paying the credit cards, the student loan is going to garnish your wages.
Can the government garnish your wages?
They can. They can garnish your wages without suing you. If you are
up to how much?
15% of your take-home pay, and it is an administrative garnishment, and on top of it, it happens when you're 270 days behind on your student loans. Defaults are in the 14 to 16% range right now. That's
the date that they started having paying back the loans was October 1?
Yeah.
So basically 270 days. When we get to next June, it's conceivable that they're going to start garnishing people.
Garnishing people.
Yes, that is correct.
So,
and actually, it wasn't.
You didn't answer my question,
No.
which is not unusual.
No, student loans started coming due earlier this year, not October 1st.
What are the remedies that a consumer has to deal with the problem?
Well, let's look at bankruptcy as an option, whether it be Chapter 7 or Chapter 13. If you are so tight and you've got to be paying student loans and your credit cards, something's going to break, right?
Well, let me just see if you agree with me on one statement. We've talked about bankruptcy and debt resolution as strategies for dealing with credit card debt. Is it a fair statement to say that you can't do debt resolution on a student loan?
No, you can't. Maybe on private student loans that have gone to suit.
So it's really about bankruptcy.
It is. But
you can't discharge the debt.
That's probably true. Let's assume for the sake of this discussion that it is generally true for most people. What does bankruptcy do for the individual with student loans and credit card debt, or just student loans?
Let's use a case study. Let's just say Jeff. Not this Jeff, but there's a Jeff.
I paid my loans
and
back
he
a long
has
time ago.
$100,000 of credit card debt,
Oh, God
and he
forbid.
has $150,000 of student loan debt, and he's making $80,000 a year.
So, from a practical standpoint,
And he's single.
That person probably has $300-400 left in their budget to pay towards all their debt. But math says that the math don't math.
I mean, what's the minimum payment on $100,000 of credit card debt?
$2,500.
So that's a little short of $300-400. And what's the student loan payment?
Probably around $500-600 for that amount of student loans.
Let's take a break, and then you can explain to us how we're going to solve the problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon Building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website, thavgross.com, to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
The doctors ask if Dad's affairs are in order. Did Dad ever talk to you about what we should do in a situation like this?
Not a word.
What should we do?
We should have called Samasco.
Don't wait. All it takes is a quick call to Samasco Law or go online and fill out a request. We can get your needs and wishes set in stone so your family doesn't have to play a guessing game when the chips are down. Protect what matters. For power of attorney, call Samasco Law today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, we're back. So, bankruptcy in a Chapter 13 does what?
So
You can't discharge, you
No.
can discharge the credit card debt. Get rid of that, right?
correct. So the goal here is not to necessarily eliminate the student loan, it's to control the student loan. Because if your payments are $500, $600, $700 a month, if they're $2,500 in your credit cards and you just don't have it, then you have to figure out what to do. And the goal is to force your creditors to accept what you can afford. And your student loan is a creditor, just like your credit cards. So we put you in a 3 to 5 year Chapter 13
Let's say you're in
to
a
control
5-year.
your debt.
At the end of the 5 years, the credit card's gone,
Correct.
but the student loan is still there?
They are still there.
What
so,
about the interest?
so interest continues
gone
to
up?
accrue. Yeah.
So you file another Chapter 13?
We could file another Chapter 13. We're not worried about getting a discharge. We're worried about controlling the debt until the law changes to the point where we can eliminate the debt.
So you file Chapter 13 continuously until there's a Democratic administration which controls Congress and they change the law. Because until that happens...
One would
Maybe.
hope that could happen, but in previous times where
We
the
had that,
Democrats have
and they didn't do
controlled
it.
the House, the Senate, and the presidency, we still haven't made student loans dischargeable. So
Brian, do they have like an offer and compromise like the IRS, where if you offer them a little bit, they'll take it? And
They sure should.
they
That's a great
should,
idea.
but they don't. Now there
Maybe
are
that'll
ways.
come.
There are ways to discharge student loans other than through bankruptcy. So if you're on Social Security disability for 36 months, you can get a Social Security discharge where they eliminate your responsibility to pay your student loans.
Permanently?
Yeah, because you're
Not taxed?
it is a forgiven debt.
even if a parent, gets a student loan for their
So
kid?
That's a different
now okay.
story.
So now you're
Now the
at
parent needs to be
Okay.
disabled.
Parent and Parent Plus loans. The rules have changed on those too. Everything has shifted. The government is taking a much more dramatic approach on collecting the debt. You borrow it, you used it, you got to pay it back. That's their, and it's not necessarily a wrong position to take. It's just a dramatic shift.
Well, I mean, you have to look at it you can look at it several different ways. Okay, the government has passed a big, beautiful bill that has preserved the tax cuts that came with the last big, beautiful bill and expanded tax cuts for the wealthy. And at the same time, it's taking a much more aggressive stance on collecting student debt, which is not held by the wealthy.
Right.
Correct.
So there's kind of it's kind of sending a message out there that says who we like and who we don't like, which is, to me, I find it to be troubling.
The only thing I found to be positive about this new student loan.
Government's supposed to be fair.
Right, but the new student loan program, the limiting the amount you can borrow, I think is a good thing, because it's going to bring universities back under control.
Except you have to be able to get the education.
The problem with the universities are, number one, they have so much money. If you look at some of these universities and their endowments, they have $1 billion.
Billions.
And two, a lot of the classes the universities make you take, you don't use for your career.
No, that is so true.
You know, if you ask the average person,
particularly in undergrad.
With an undergraduate degree, you know, what classes do you use that you took in college that you use in your profession?
Well, I was a political science major,
Right.
and what that did for me, it got me into law school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Although,
Although probably our degree could have gotten me into law school too.
I did my undergrad in accounting. So
same
the
as mine.
accounting
Yeah.
was very useful. I use it every single day.
psychology.
Business
I went in
still is
psychology.
only
I use that a
20%
lot,
of your
even in
classes
the
were
practice of
accounting
law.
classes.
But the first 2 years, the general natural science and all that
But
stuff.
that's why
No.
when people
history.
are talking to me about
That
college
made us more
educations,
rounded.
when people talk to me about college educations, I always profess that the new norm should be 2 years of community college, and then if you want to go to
So
university.
get rid of the useless classes at a lower cost.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the same book. You
I mean,
know, the community
it's not
colleges are the
useless.
same
It's
book as-
information and it's knowledge. You just can't. It just doesn't give you any practical application
Yeah.
for training or.
it's
for a
very hard
career.
to reconcile spending
I mean, humanities.
$30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year to go to the
that's
first 2
debatable.
years of college.
Debatable how.
Well, it's not vocational school. It does teach you how to think. It teaches you how to analyze. It teaches you how to communicate. These are skills that you can apply elsewhere. It's not directly this I use
Yeah, I
here.
mean, I remember my freshman
We knew how to
year.
do
My
that
freshman
before
year at
college.
Michigan State, Nat Sci, natural science. I hated that class, but yeah, there was probably some information there that was useful. Math has use. I mean, even nowadays, you're still trying to figure out when you're issuing stock, and someone says, "Well, we have 3 shareholders. We want to issue new shares to that shareholder and give them 8%." That's an algebra equation.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
but
Well, we
the
got 30
area- the
seconds
area
left.
of
What
the
do we?
square-
Let's just bring it back home.
Bring
If
it back home in
if-
30 seconds.
If you have student loan problems, if you have credit card debt, and you're struggling to put food on the table, the bottom line is that you need an opportunity to get yourself the relief, and that relief probably comes with Chapter 13 or Chapter 7 bankruptcy. So instead of waiting for the other shoe to drop, call us. We'll help you.
Yeah, the one thing you don't want is you don't want them taking your money out of your bank account. On that note, have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.